How many of you remember Y2K? Yeah? Y2K. It was the weirdest time ever. If you were born after the year 2000, you've probably only heard about it from your parents, who still probably have like hoarded canned chili in their garage from this experience as a trophy from the chaos. But it was a real thing, okay? Y2K basically just means year 2000. That's all it is. I was a teenager at the time, and what happened was they were convinced that the world was literally going to fall apart. Like, fall apart. The moment the clock struck midnight on New Year's Eve, 1999. And I remember thinking, okay, but like, which midnight though? You know, like East Coast, West Coast, GMT, whatever that one is. I mean, like, I remember really thinking about that. That stuff is the kind of things I think about, like, just crazy thoughts. And I'm like, but which one? There's all sorts of midnights. Who has the first midnight? I swear, it was like, is everybody waiting till midnight and going, oh, we made it. But regardless of the time zones, people were legitimately convinced that the apocalypse was upon us. No joke. I'm not exaggerating. People were convinced that this was a thing. Why? Because people in the world had gotten so dependent on digital systems. See, at that time, that was like the rise of, us starting to lean so heavily on like computers and different things like that. And the thing is that when they built all these computers, they didn't know what would happen when the computers rolled over to the year 2000. Because there weren't computers when 1000 hit, so they were like, wait, when it goes to 0, what's going to happen? Is everything going to fall apart? Would the clocks reset? Would bank accounts just disappear? Would planes fall out of the sky now all of a sudden because they're running on digital things? See, people, they started prepping like crazy. Water, batteries, freeze-dried food, and like legitimately starting to hoard food. And listen, I'm telling you right now, this was not COVID-level stockpiling. Now imagine, this was its own category of chaos. It was like, if you think about it like this, there's a countdown, right? With COVID, it was just like, what's happening? We don't know. We need to get things. But with this, there was like this countdown, and people were like, I gotta have all my stuff before the clock hits midnight. So everything was wiped out. Everything. All of the stores were wiped out. I'm telling you, worse than COVID. And I'll never forget, we were in my uncle's house that night. We're sitting in the living room watching the ball drop in New York. Because at that time, at this point, we're like, they're the ones that have the ball dropping on TV. Back then, you would watch the live program. And so that was like, I guess, the main midnight, right? So like, I guess at that point, we would all be convinced that's the main midnight. LA, we're 3 hours behind, everybody's asleep already. Then the moment it hits. Midnight. Midnight comes. I'm telling you. And nothing happened. It was like this 5 seconds of pure silence. Like the weirdest experience ever. Like if you're watching the TV, it was like Times Square just kind of paused. Everybody's like looking around like, wait, we're here still? Like as if like they were gonna die at midnight or something. Not even just like the world going to chaos. Like people were shocked that nothing happened. It was wild. It was so wild. I swear, we're crazy people. And then life, it went on. It just went on. Continued. I remember like No Doubt started playing on TV like 5 seconds later. Like even they were like, Gwen Stefani was like, all right, let's go. We can play now. Like everything's working. Life went on. The ball dropped. The lights stayed on. No planes crashed. No ATMs exploded. no sentient like kitchen appliances coming after us like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Terminator. Like, we're good. Skynet, nothing. All that prepping, all that panic, all of it, all built on a faulty assumption that everything was going to collapse. And here's what hit me later. What was that fear really built on? I think about it now even more so, reflecting, and as I was writing the message, I was thinking, man, like, that was really crazy. What was the foundation underneath all of the panic? What was it? Because in all honesty, we didn't know if the system would hold. I mean, yes, we looked like crazy, but at the end of the day, we really didn't know. Again, technology, all that stuff, a lot of it was newer. I remember walking into my uncle's garage at one point during the buildup of that year, thinking, is this like a garage or a Costco? I remember like just lines of stuff. My mom would tell you, my uncle was just storing, like it was like an above ground bunker. I'm like, dude, we're not even underground. People are going to steal it from us. He was stocked. He was ready. And this is where it connects to what Jesus is saying. We build our lives on assumptions all the time. We do. We build our lives on assumptions. And assumptions, they can look solid. They can feel stable, these assumptions. And we think, what could go wrong? I'm just preparing. Most of us, we tend to live like everything's going to be all right all the time until it's not. And then we go scrambling. And life just starts to fall apart in our own minds. And it may not be as bad as it is on the outside, but people see you freaking out, and it feels like a real war inside. Like, what is happening? I don't know. It's panic. You know, we assume our success will hold. We assume our comfort is going to last. We assume our image will protect us from collapse, right? You know, the people that are on social media that are celebrities, like they think they're good. They got up there. They're at a level where they're going to be comfortable and they're good forever. But what happens when they lose it and the world starts attacking them, and then they're just messed up for the rest of their life? That wasn't part of the plan. I guarantee it. But listen. Jesus, he's not impressed with how well you manage the optics. He's not. He's after the hidden layers. He's after the hidden layers, the parts that nobody else sees. That's what he's after. That's what he's after. Because if the foundation isn't solid, if it's weak, if there are voids that nothing else is going to hold, it will start caving in. And church, listen to me. This is so important. This is so important. Write this down if you need to. Tattoo it on your forearm if you must. But, I mean, you don't have to, okay? Just, you know, it's me. I have Bible verses everywhere. But here's the truth. You won't know if your foundation is real until life puts weight on it.